Alright, how you're doing? In today's video, we'll recap through on what if statements are and else before we'll create a simple project using these statements and on front-end language in HTML. So enough talk, let's get right into this video. Okay, so what is the if statement? So if a condition is true, then a condition is true. If not the condition false, then the condition is false. Meaning that if you define a statement, it will show that it's based on what the condition is. And if, let's say, if that condition is false, it will show an error displaying that condition is false. Alright, we also looked at through what nested if statements are. So nested if is that where it allows to if statements that define inside of another statement. So for example, in this case, we'll create two variables with assigning it to a value and a Boolean value as well. And now using if statement will determine whether if you're able or legally to drive a car. So that license is false. So if age is less than or equal to 18, then console log you say you're old enough to drive. So this one here displays a message showcasing that it's a if condition. So we also create another if condition as well for a license to determine whether if that license you have is valid. If not, then use an else statement here displaying that you don't have a valid license, and another else statement to wrap it all of the nested if. We use else statement to to check whether if you're not able to drive. So this one here shows that you're old enough to drive. If not, you use an else statement at the end between the two ifs inside, two conditional statements inside, and outside is both as well statements. Let's quickly introduce to a new statement, which is an else if. So an else if statement is used to specify the condition to the test if the first condition is false, meaning that if, let's say, if age less than or equal to 18 is, let's say, is false, then we use an extra if statement to check that statement is false. And again, if it's false, we'll define another statement beneath to execute that value. So once it's now all true, then we'll close the statement using an else. So notice here on the nested if, all of the linings are the same. So it's now in order. So let's say if I just use this, then it will still be the same, but it will show you an error because of the intended block, meaning that it has to align well with that statement here between it. So that it's more organized and clear to read. So let's add an else if statement to check whether if that thing is true or false. So if that license is true, you say console.log you have a valid license. So it's practice to close the statements using the semicolon as well. Okay, and let's also include another if statement additionally. So if statement is false, and we'll check whether that one is true or false. Console.log you don't have a valid license. And there we go. So here are both else if statements included using if and else. So we just checked whether if and else statements are true and false. If you want a part 2 video, hit a like, subscribe, turn your notification bell so you don't miss a video. In this part 2 video, I'll be then demonstrating on creating the HTML and JavaScript project using the if statement and else if